My 32 female husband's niece, 22 female, wants to stay with us but doesn't want to do chores. How to proceed?
My husband's is working abroad and his niece, 25, university student, let's call her Jane, is helping us out at home. She's specifically watching the younger kids for 1.5 hours on weekdays until I return from work, and in that time also makes dinner for us.
Then she will do dishes and clean up the kitchen a bit, while I'm getting the kids ready for bed and to sleep.
She also babysits one evening a week and handles kids during school holidays if there is no camp, with only occasional help from our oldest, 18, and in case they are sick and cannot go to school while I'm working.
Additionally, she hangs up laundry if I throw in a load in the morning and may do some little tidying up during the day if she feels like it. In return, she can stay and eat with us for free, has her own room, and we also pay her enough to cover her tuition, pocket money, transport, and some extra. Recently, she was doing an internship and brought her sister, 22, university student, let's call her Annette, to stay with us and help her out for the duration of the internship.
I was okay with that, since I don't want to overload Jane and want her to be successful in her studies, of course. Now the internship is done though, and Annette is still here.
Upon asking, she said she wants to stay longer because it's convenient and cheaper for her to stay with us.
I'm again okay with that, since Jane has agreed. They will have to share a room when our oldest comes home for holidays.
But I asked her to start doing chores if she's to stay with us. Specifically, I proposed folding kids' laundry, getting kids ready for school once a week, so that I can go for jogging or sleep in a little, and clean the bathroom at least once a week. Annette isn't okay with that.
She says she's already helping her sister and says if I want her to work for real, I should pay her as well.
I cannot afford to pay another person.
Now I can afford to feed her, of course, but I'd like to also get something out of it. I feel like it's a totally reasonable amount of chores to do for basically free room and board, and whether she's helping her sister or not is not really my problem. I am contemplating to give her a little pocket money, but I'm kinda ready to kick her out if she won't do chores.
My husband just says not to kick her out and to just be tougher on the girls, since they are still kids, but he doesn't want to involve himself. Basically, he's asking me to treat them like they are our children.
I'd say she's not a kid, she's an adult. I cannot force her to do chores if she doesn't want to, and I would feel ridiculous taking away the Wi-Fi if chores aren't done, or something like I might do for our 18-year-old, or to offer rewards if they do their chores like I do with our 6 and 9-yo. I'd say staying with us for free is the reward and she can take it or leave it.
But am I completely off base here?
Edit. Wow, the post really blew up. I won't be able to answer most of the comments.
You gave me a lot to think about, and I've decided to have another chat with both the girls this weekend before dishing out any ultimatums. I'll offer different chores to Annette and also reinforce with Jane that she'll need to handle her responsibilities, at least mostly, by herself, since Annette will have her own chores. It may be an opportunity to redistribute the housework between the three of us, and hopefully Jane may be more open to this if she has more of a say in what she will be doing.
I'm still hoping to get out of this discussion with a tiny little bit of free time for myself as well. XD. To answer some of your questions, Annette is not a lazy good-for-nothing. She does keep her room clean, she does her own laundry and generally cleans after herself. I wanted her to pick up extra chores, basically in exchange for housing and feeding her, and thought it would be mutually beneficial cause I'm also drowning in work and childcare tasks. Our 18-yo is technically my stepson. So no, I didn't have him at 14. My husband is 36.
18-yo has chores as well. When he's home he handles all dishes for everyone. He chose this chore. 6 and 9-yo also have small chores, clean up their own toys, set the table and clear the table, with my help where needed, sometimes help with laundry. They will do more when they're older.
I am paying Jane and not Annette, because Jane is doing around 20 hours of work, childcare, cooking, dishes, etc. per week, while I'm asking only around 3 hours of work from Annette. Fold kids' laundry, clean bathroom, get kids ready one morning. I do see that Annette has taken up a bit of Jane's work though, and will address that with both of them.
Okay, Annette, I hear what you say about not wanting to do chores, so let's sit down and come to an agreement about rent and other costs. Then see how quickly she's fine with folding laundry. My husband just says not to kick her out and to just be tougher on the girls, since they are still kids, but he doesn't want to involve himself. Basically, he's asking me to treat them like they are our children.
They're young adults, not kids.
And he doesn't want to get involved?
Tough luck.
They're his nieces and he should sit them down and make it clear that Annette can either step up and do chores, or she has to leave.
SRSLY. What a turn off. So he wants to be the fun uncle. I would say if she is only willing to help her sister, then the money you give for the work her sister does will have to split between them.
This will make the sister either kick her out or make her step up to do other things. It's not fair on you to have two people to feed and house with only one person's worth of work getting done.
They are 22 and 25.
They are not kids. Suggest to your husband he pulls his head out of his ass and present a united front. Tell Annette she can either pay rent and do no chores, or she can clean the bathroom she uses once a week and fold some laundry and get free room and board. Tell Annette that Jane had to do X amount of work to stay, and it would be unfair to her if she was to do not as much. But it probably makes more sense to not bother and say you're too crowded.
Do chores or pay rent.
This isn't a free ride.
Still kids.
At 22 and 25? You're 32, does your husband think you're a tween? My best friend 29F would jokingly say she would marry my husband 30M if he was single? What do I do with my best friend 29F who I think has a crush on my husband 30M? My best friend, let's call her Anne, and I became close since the start of medical school. We have been best of friends for 7 years now. She was my maid of honor at my wedding and we're still close to this day. My then boyfriend, let's call him Jim, now my husband, came in the picture 4 years ago. Naturally, before my boyfriend became my husband, Anne along with our other best friend would hang out and eventually the four of us became close. I'm happy that my friends really liked my then boyfriend Jim, now my husband, since they've seen the SHTTY men I dated before. They've seen how great of a catch Jim is. He's really not the typical a-hole you meet. They would sometimes jokingly say that he really is the husband of the group, which is fine by me because he really cares about all of us and he's just sweet like that. I promise you, it's just his personality and no malice from his part. We would just randomly hang out at each other's homes and Jim would cook for us since he's a great chef and he cooks for his other friend groups as well. Typical hangouts outside too.
Naturally, Jim became part of the group.
So now the dilemma is, when we get together with my friends, Anne would give comments like, if you were single Jim, I would have married you instead, or, what if we met before you met my name, I would have married you right then.
I would comment back jokingly that, what if you leave instead, and then laugh it off.
These comments would start when my best friends would compliment our relationship and how happy they are for us, and how lucky I am with Jim, etc., which is normal because my friends has always been endearing, but nowadays, I don't know how to deal or how to react because she's my best friend and I talk to her about everything, except about my husband, since I never talk about our personal stuff to anyone.
It's okay to compliment the relationship, but I just don't like how she comments things like that.
I shared this to my husband before since this happened once in the past already before we even got married, and he got the hint and was always distant with her and is very sensitive with my feelings and would just laugh off her comment when she says them.
But I want to know about my best friend, and how to deal with her. Note: a lot of you were commenting that Jim should have shut her down. Well, he already did when she commented like this before we got married. Her comment then was, do you have a twin or can I clone you? I'd marry that, and my husband said, I'm sure you'll find someone who's just perfect for you and not me. Don't worry, we'll try to find you someone. This was a repeat, and we thought it had already stopped. Yeah, I don't think that's okay. She's basically saying that she thinks she's a better match with him than you are. You just got there first. That would make me uncomfortable too. I limit time with people who undermine me because I ain't got time for that. This girl is not a safe place for you or your relationship. She is crushing on your husband. Set strong boundaries and talk to your husband. She is not a friend to you. She envied you. This joke is actually her, not so, secret desire. I would stay away from her. I had a best friend, similar to that, except that I trusted and loved her like a sister and didn't think she was interested in my husband in that way. Joke on me, because my ex and her both left their spouse of 18 years to be together. She now lives the comfortable life she always wanted, my previous life. The next time she says, what if you met me first? I think you should respond with something like, yeah, I'm glad that didn't happen. It would have made things awkward when he dumped you for me. It took your wonderful husband to show her true colors.
No need to explain to her what is clearly disrespectful, so you should seek distance or end the friendship.
She's probably jealous that she is still single. You need to tell her that you don't like the jokes and ask her to stop. If she continues, call her out and ask her to leave, or you leave. Cut her off after that. Make sure she isn't contacting your husband.
Husband, 25M, gave me, 25F, an ultimatum. What do I do? This is a throwaway and my first time posting, so please excuse any errors. My husband, 25M, let's call him Dean, fake name, and I, 25F, have been together for 5 years and married for 4 years. During our first year of marriage, I got pregnant, and I decided I wanted to keep our son even though my husband did not want to have kids so soon.
I told him I wouldn't force him to stay, and he could choose to be in our child's life or not. I basically gave him a couple options but did not include abortion. To be clear, we had a conversation before.
If I had gotten pregnant before we were ready, then we wouldn't have continued the pregnancy.
I felt differently about getting an abortion once we were in the actual situation, and I understood why he was upset. He decided to stay and we welcomed our son Sam, who is now 3.
He later said he is so grateful for my decision and would never wish away our son.
Throughout our marriage, I have been the primary caretaker of our son.
If you ask any of our family or friends, they will say how Sam is always with me. Dean and I have had multiple conversations about me needing him to take more responsibility for his son, and he would get defensive and start saying he needed more from me as a wife, such as cooking and cleaning more. I expressed all my energy was going into taking care of our son by myself and work, and I didn't have anything else to give. Mind you, when we first had this conversation, we both worked full-time. The next time I expressed a need for more help, I stopped working because he wanted me to be a stay-at-home mom, and I had been diagnosed with severe anxiety and depression. There are other issues with our marriage, like the fact that Dean and I can't communicate in a healthy way to resolve conflict.
Nothing actually gets resolved. He will give me the silent treatment until he isn't upset anymore. Then, in a couple weeks or months, the topic will come up again, and it turns into a cycle.
This all came to a head last night when I explained I wanted to try a period of separation.
I explained how I felt and wanted us both to go to individual and marriage counseling, but he refused to see any counselor, therapist. Dean said if we separated, then we'd just get a divorce, and we kept arguing until he gave me an ultimatum.
Either we work it out ourselves, or we get a divorce.
He believes these things are not a big deal, and we can work them out, but I think there won't be much of a difference based on how things have been handled in the past. I am tired, and I hate how this ultimatum makes me feel. I just want some unbiased opinions. Let me know if I am being unreasonable. Thank you in advance. Edit to correct fake name. If you working it out yourselves is him giving you the silent treatment, then you have your answer to the ultimatum.
By work them out, he means you stop asking him for anything. Is that what you want?
Please just leave.
Don't make your son grow up in a house full of seething silence.
The ultimatum is actually, hey op, I'm not changing anything or trying even a little bit harder. Deal with it or we'll divorce. Is it a bluff? Only one way to find out. He believes these issues are not a big deal, yet he refuses to hear you out or help you out. I think he's full of BS.
Just get the divorce. You're the only one invested in this marriage. Your husband gives you the silent treatment, demands more from you when you say you're already overwhelmed, gives you the silent treatment instead of addressing issues, doesn't want to work, resolves the issues, and immediately threatened divorce when you proposed a means to improve your marriage. Just get the divorce.
He's right that if you try a trial separation, you will end up divorced.
Because once you're living apart, you will realize how much easier your life is without his dead weight and unrealistic expectations. One-sided open relationship?
M27, F27.
My ex-boyfriend asked for a one-sided open relationship, purely sexual, aka he is allowed to sleep with other girls whilst I stay faithful to him.
He said he needs this to be able to be the best boyfriend for me.
Because to him it's just sex. L asked to open my side up. Even though I didn't want an open relationship to start with, I also didn't want to not have the choice.
He obviously disagreed, downloaded dating apps and started texting and messaging girls.
After lots of arguing, I gave him 3 rules. Protection: never the same girl twice and not someone from his past. Again, he disagreed and said those rules were my way of controlling him.
He keeps saying I should allow him because it's just my ego not allowing him, and if he was rich I apparently wouldn't have cared.
We got in a massive argument over it and now he has broken up with me?
Lol. Or at least we're not talking but obviously live together. I have never felt this confused, sad but also relieved at the same time.
He claims any guy will want to sleep with other girls, cheat.
I am planning on leaving but he was my whole world. How do I get over him quick? Nah, this is a load of crap.
He was going to cheat on you, so he decided to ask your permission first, so that he could throw it back in your face when you got mad or upset about it and say that you were the one that agreed to it.
Also, a huge double standard.
That is controlling behavior to say that he can do whatever he wants, but you can't. He has no respect for you, so don't waste a second feeling sad. Dude is a loser.
Wow, what an absolute loser. Women enjoy sex just as much. Start looking for somewhere else to live, and while you are at it, get on dating sites and get dressed up and go out on dates. Fuck him.
Low-life loser.
So while still laying down ground rules and deciding if you want this, he downloaded dating apps and started talking other girls? Fuck that.
Open relationships only work if both people want them, and there are good boundaries set up and accepted by both people.
He's ignoring all of the fundamental parts of an open relationship.
Do not agree to it if you don't want it.
If it's unclear if you're broken up, take the initiative and dump him. Not all guys want to cheat,
only narcissistic assholes.
FYI, he already has somebody in mind.
His big issue was with your third rule.
He just wanted permission to sleep with them.
Thank you everyone for the comments, kind words and encouragement so far.
I am feeling less alone and hopeful that one day I will find someone who won't feel the need to sleep with other girls in order to be a great boyfriend. Girl. Leave that pathetic man to the streets where he belongs. Also, please check yourself for an STD, STI. He just wants to have an affair with someone he already knows. Move out and move on. He is not worth it.
The double standards and the audacity, his ego ate yours and most of the people on this planet. What in the actual? This is effed up.
I'm in an open relationship.
This is just cheating. You didn't agree to it, so it's cheating. Open relationships, E&M, have agreed upon boundaries that are respected by both partners.
Run.
Seriously.
Run.